Did you know that the price of a college textbook has risen 812% since 1980? That means a book that cost $20 in 1984 now costs $170. That's 8 times as much. This is absurd as the price of college textbooks has risen faster than medical services and new housing prices. Now you would expect this with medical services as there's new technology and infrastructure, but what is the technology pushing the price point of books? The Kindle? Ebooks should drive the cost of actual books down, as the consumer now has more options, ergo market competition, ergo lower prices. Instead, students now spend 15% of their entire college tuition budget on textbooks like this. This textbook cost $85 and my roommate had to buy it. You see, the professor wrote it and she requires it for the college class. Now, considering it has no binding and is basically PowerPoint slides, feel free to write an email to Lisa Burgeon reminding her what conflict of interest is. To quote Jimmy McMillan, the immortal candidate for mayor of New York, the price of textbooks is too damn high. Why are they so high? Because like pirates, everyone wants a cut of the money. A fifth goes to the bookstore, 3/5 go to the publisher, and a fifth goes to the author. Now 1/5 doesn't seem like a lot of money, but if a professor writes a book and then forces all his students to have it for his class, suddenly we're talking some cash. How much money are we talking? So let's conservatively price that textbook at $60 and say there's 30 students in a class and teaches 5 classes a semester. That's 10 classes a year. So we do the math and it's about $3,600 a year that professor's making from having his own textbook out. Now let's say 100 students. It's a big lecture hall. We're talking $12,000 a year that professor's making and requiring his students to buy his textbook. Not a bad gig. So suddenly when we do a little math, we reveal the vested interest at heart. And ironically, in Lisa's piece of junk book, the title's correct. Cash is king. They're able to do this because the university system has created what's called artificial inelastic demand. Inelastic demand is an economic concept that basically says the law of diminishing returns don't apply. Doesn't matter how much cocaine you said because he'll always want more. And this is what makes the drug market and the textbook market surprisingly profitable. The university and professors control the demand by dictating what books the students have to buy. The bookstore controls distribution because when you look online, the book you need is mysteriously not available on Amazon. And the publisher controls supply by pumping out new editions, which half the time is just changing the font. It's a big racketeering gig, where every facet of the university colludes to exploit the students because they can. Because they've created an inelastic demand structure of college textbooks. It's funny. The Public Institute Group found that on average a new edition is released every 3.9 years, but a 2008 report by California state auditors found, and I quote, many college deans, department heads, and faculty members admit textbook revisions that are often minimal and not always warranted. They also go on to say they found, and I quote again, that a majority of students have admitted to at least not buying one textbook for class because the price was too high. What kind of higher education is that? This was even after they said they understood their grade may be negatively impacted. You see, this is a big bubble. Just like the dot-com boom and the 2008 housing market crash, the textbook industry is one big unsustainable bubble waiting to be burst. And when it does, and it will, finally the university will face some market correction. Because we're talking about airport-style exploitation here. So I understand how the game works, and I bet you guys do too, but sometimes I just get sick of hearing how the university is a city on the hill of higher education. It's not. It's an industry just like any other business, and it has its own vested interests. As always, links in the description.